Hello everyone, this is Pooka and welcome to another Pokemon TCG video. We are continuing to look with decks that are updated with XY Phantom Forces, and today we are going to look with a deck that's been around, well, since the beginning of last season, a deck I have covered many times. It's back again, Virizion Genesect. So this is a very simple, well-known strategy at this point. Basic idea, use Virizion EX, has a great ability, blocks all special conditions if you have a grass energy attached. Use it to Emerald Slash, power up your Genesect EX by grabbing 2 grass out of the deck and attaching it to one of your bench Pokemon. Genesect EX has Red Signal. Put a Plasma Energy on it from your hand. It's like a Pokemon catcher or Lysander, however you want to look at it. Grab a Pokemon off their bench, bring it active. Megalo Cannon 100 and then 20 to one of their benched Pokemon. And then, of course, the big attack of the deck, G-Booster. It's your A-Spec card. You can only use it with Genesect. Well, Genesect's the only card that gets the benefit. But yeah, 200 damage. Basically, you destroy something. It's basically how you look at it. Yeah, that's the deck. It's been around for a while. The strategy is not a secret. It is just very consistent. And a very good strategy. It's obviously won the World Championships, and it continues to have success in this format as well. Now, what does this deck gain with Phantom Forces? Well, it is gaining a card that I miss dearly, and that is Enhanced Hammer. Virizion Genesect is one of the decks that used Enhanced Hammer to perfection. Pretty much every Virizion Genesect deck at the end of the season last year played like 2 or 3 copies of this card. It's just really good. You have the space for it. It slows down a lot of decks. And with Red Signal and G-Booster, you can bring out a threat, Enhanced Hammer, discard energy off another Pokemon, and then G-Booster, and knock out another Pokemon, and you could just make game-changing plays. Enhanced Hammer is just that good. Discarding special energy is crazy. So with Enhanced Hammer, we also bring back an old friend, Drifblim, with Shadow Steel, the Blimp Pokemon. 50 damage times the number of special energy cards in your opponent's discard pile. Right, so obviously there is complete synergy with Enhanced Hammer and Drifblim. You put the energy in the discard and then you do more damage. But Drifblim is really good right now. And for those of you wondering why is this card legal, it's from Dragons Exalted. It's actually reprinted as a promo card. I don't have it on Pokemon TCG Online. I'm not sure if it even exists on here. Probably does somewhere off the mystery box or something like that. But yes, this is a legal card. It was reprinted, so you can use it in the standard format. But there are tons of special energy in pretty much every deck in this format. Just about everything runs special energy, whether it's double colorless, whether it's plasma energy, strong energy. I mean, there's just a ton of it. And so Drifblim is definitely worth the 2/2 line in this deck. Just a nice 1 energy attacker, a great fit for a Virizion Genesect deck. Now we also have Jirachi EX, great card. Stellar Guidance, that's a search for a supporter card. We don't run too many different types of supporters, 4N, and then 4 Juniper, along with 4 Skyla, and then 1 Colress, but it's really good for grabbing Shadow Triad as well. Just grab a Shadow Triad, gets back your G-Booster, gets back a Plasma Energy. I mean, it's just great. So Jirachi is a card that's found a home in this deck, pretty much every version of it. And Deoxys EX, this is a card that kind of goes in and out of Virizion Genesect decks. Initially it was in, then it was out, then it's in, then it's out, then it's in, then it's out. And I think it's back in right now. Main reason being Donphan. So we're going to be using it for Power Connect. Your Team Plasma Pokemon do 10 more damage to the active Pokemon. Helix Force is an option. We are going to run Psychic Energy for Helix Force, but it's not going to be used very often. But the idea here is Donphan has 130 HP. Megalo Cannon does 100, and then with a Muscle Band does 120. But we're 10 short of knocking out Donphan. Well, now we have Power Connect to make it do 130. Genesect is a Team Plasma Pokemon. So there you go. Deoxys just there to add the extra 10. That'll get you knockouts sometimes. Really good card. All right, let's take a look at the rest of the cards here. We've already seen the supporters, the ace spec. We do have a couple VS Seeker as well, or Versus Seeker, however you want to say it. I tend to go with just VS. Just the kind of guy I am. It just adds a little more flexibility to your supporters. Can turn into more ends, can turn into more Shadow Triad. You know, most lists ran 2 Shadow Triad in this deck. I think now we'll probably see people going down to 1 Shadow Triad and then VS Seeker. It doesn't make sense to run more than 1 Shadow Triad when you can run this card that pretty much allows you to get back Shadow Triad or a different supporter if you need it. Just my thoughts. Professor's Letter, just great. With Skyla, we're playing for Skyla, so want to search out your energy, make sure you get a quick Emerald Slash. Startling Megaphone, shuts off Garbodor, discards their tools, always a good thing to play. 3 Ultra Ball, just search out your Pokemon. It's in every deck. 2 Switch, and then 1 Escape Rope. We don't have Sky Arrow Bridge in the standard format, so we do need to run switching cards, unfortunately. In Expanded, we see Sky Arrow Bridge in all of these Virizion Genesect decks, but Switch and Escape Rope have to be your choices here. 2 Energy Switch, just to move some energy around. Another great card in this deck. And then 1 Colress Machine. It can be good with Genesect, and also very good with Deoxys EX. You can get a really surprising knockout sometimes with a Colress Machine and a Psychic Energy and Helix Force. Just something to keep in mind. But there you have it, Virizion Genesect. 4 Plasma Energy, 9 Grass, 1 Psychic. Should be just enough for this kind of a deck. So the additions of Drifblim and Enhanced Hammer are very big for this deck. Questions I get a lot about this deck. What do you do about Pyroar? Some decks don't beat Pyroar. Deal with it. You do have, like a 1,000,000 to 1 chance. I don't want to say it's that bad, but you can beat Pyroar sometimes. If you go first, turn to Emerald Slash with a Muscle Band, knock out a Litleo, and then G-Booster goes through Intimidating Mane. You can knock out a Pyroar that way. If they get enough special energy in the discard, you can Shadow Steel. Drifblim is an evolution, so there are ways to win, but it's a bad matchup. Don't go out of your way to try to beat it. A lot of people say, well, why am I not running Beartic? That'll beat Pyroar. Not worth it. Only good against that deck, and Pyroar really isn't that popular. And Beartic, a 2/2 line, really doesn't beat Pyroar, unfortunately. You would think it does, but I don't really think it does. Alright, anyway, enough of that. Let's jump into a game on Pokemon TCG Online to see if we can get some Virizion Genesect going on here against Rojo Barclay. Let's see what's up. Alright, so we're starting off with Virizion EX, the best starter in the deck. That's why we play 4 of them. We want to start with it, and a Donphan deck. So, in the previous video, we played the other side of this matchup. Donphan versus Virizion Genesect, and we beat the Virizion Genesect deck. So we'll see how it goes from the other side. We'll see how it looks when I'm the one on the receiving end of a spinning turn. I have a feeling it's not going to be pretty, as I'm already pretty scared. Going first is a very big deal for this deck. I can't express that enough. It's very big for Donphan as well. Think about how the roles are reversed if I'm going first. Now I might not even attach to my active because I don't want to get hit by 2 spinning turns to knock me out. It's kind of gross. So yeah, it's a really big difference. So let's go ahead and Skyla. Thankfully, the Professor's Letter was in there. I'm going to grab a Grass and a Psychic. I don't know if I'll need the Psychic for Deoxys at some points. We'll just take the 2 Grass, I guess. And yeah, I'm afraid of a turn 2 spinning turn for, it could do like 90 damage or 100 damage. So let's just attach to the bench Virizion and pass the turn. It's not great, but it's fine with me. I don't want to just Emerald Slash once and then be done with it. But okay, my opponent doesn't seem to have much of anything. Just benches a Howlucha and passes. Well, I didn't expect that. Obviously, you cannot really expect that. If my opponent did have an attack, Virizion gets hit. But yeah, now, let's see. We have a decision to be making. I have a Juniper, an N, or I'm going to actually do the VS Seeker for Skyla. And I guess we can Skyla for a couple different things. Escape Rope could get us some damage on an actual Pokemon. Sigilyph is active, so Safeguard is blocking any damage that Virizion EX might do. My other option is to Skyla for Ultra Ball and grab Genesect. And then Emerald Slash and power up Genesect. And that seems like the much, much better option, as Pokemon TCG Online seems to be taking a while to digest this whole amazing, mind-blowing play. Skyla for Ultra Ball. No way. Emerald Slash for 0 damage. Gets me 2 energy on a Genesect EX. Seems worth it to me. Alright. So, we got the turn 2 Emerald Slash all good to go. We got the Genesect powered up, and this is probably about as good of a position as I could be in. And I still don't feel good. This is still scary. Donphan is scary to play against. I have to take 6 knockouts to beat this deck. It's gross. Oh, why don't they play Pokemon EX? Why does it take so long to beat them? But yeah, it's kind of daunting, right? They can pretty much knock me out in 2 hits with Spinning Turn, Fighting Stadium, and so on. And I have to do 1 attack at a time. I might not even get a prize every time I attack. Things like Sigilyph, Robo Substitute, even Donphan's difficult to knock out. And yeah, right off the bat, here we go. A Spinning Turn for 80 damage with this Donphan. That hurts. Alright, I do have an Energy Switch, not a card I wanted to draw here since I have to discard my hand. I would love to save that for later, but I don't think I want to Energy Switch. It seems like kind of a waste. And we get a Drifblim, we get not a bad hand by any means. We'll just go ahead and probably Emerald Slash again and just get our Genesects all powered up. The biggest mistake I see people make with Virizion Genesect is not using Emerald Slash enough. Why would you not just power up a bunch of Pokemon and, go from there? A lot of people get really antsy and then, I got my Genesect powered up, go! And they Megalo Cannon or G-Booster, but I don't think that's the way you play this deck. You Emerald Slash, and then you Emerald Slash again, and now we have attackers for the rest of the game. How beautiful is that? So, patience is a virtue, folks. It applies to Pokemon as well. Yes, I'm going to lose the first 2 prizes here, but it is definitely worth it. So, Virizion EX is going down with that Fighting Stadium in play. This is not looking too great. I don't have a Plasma Energy in my hand. I haven't been able to find Muscle Band. No Deoxys EX in sight. We actually see Wobbuffet as well, so that's actually going to block my red signal. He's blocking my signals. Can't get through. And, alright, 2 prizes taken for Team Donphan. I can bench another Drifblim here. I have the G-Booster in hand. I don't feel like attaching it because I might need Muscle Band instead. So we're just going to hold on to that. I do have Enhanced Hammer. That's a nice card to get here. I don't know where to discard the energy. I think I'm going to go Donphan. Since my opponent doesn't have another Donphan. There's the Phanpy with the 2 energy. It's not a Donphan yet, though. And my opponent would need a Floatstone and a Donphan to attack with that Phanpy. So I'm just going to live with the results. If they get a Donphan and a Floatstone, great. If not, this is going to be a huge turn for me. I could pick off that Phanpy over there, but oh well. All right. A lot of this is going to depend on what my opponent draws at this point, since they have taken the lead. Here is Karina. That's going to be a Donphan and a Floatstone. That's not good. but well. So we do see the Donphan. Yeah, there's the float stone. They're going to float away and spinning turn for 100 damage again. And now I'm left figuring out what to do. Alright, I still don't have like a muscle band, or even Deoxys would have been really cool here to set up, well, to get a knockout on the Wobbuffet the last turn, or to set up the double knockout on the Donphan this turn. Yeah, this is rough. I really don't want to Megalo Cannon the active that has 10 HP left. That seems like the bad thing to do here. So I think I have, let's see, yeah, there's a Skylight in there. We can go VS Seeker for the Skylight and actually take Escape Rope. Get the Wobbuffet out of the active. And then we can Red Signal and go from there. Hit something. Basically, I just don't want to hit Wobbuffet for 100 when it has 10 left. That seems very stupid. So let's Skyla for Escape Rope. My lack of Muscle Band and Deoxys really killing me. If I had either one of those, this game would look a lot different. But here we go. Let's put the Plasma on and Red Signal. And there's really no great option here. I think I'm just going to bring up the Donphan just to say, you know what, I'm going to hit you for 100. And then my next Megalo Cannon could be big. I could get a 2-prize knockout on the next one. But I'm just going to soften this guy up. Seems reasonable. And yeah, if they spinning turn to the bench, great. I will find you. Genesect Megalo Cannon will hunt you down. Because that's what he does. Now, there is another thing that could happen here, and it is called Wreck. And Wreck does exactly what it says. It wrecks your active. It will knock out Genesect, and my opponent will go down to 2 prizes. Things I don't want to see happen, but, you know, this is kind of the risk I took. I could have actually brought out the other Donphan. That could have been an option, but I wasn't really setting up any plays by doing that. So, I don't know. I decided to do the thing that would set up the best play. We do see an N, and time to get wrecked. Apparently 200. Goodbye, Genesect. We hardly knew ye. And, alright. Now, this does set up some decent things, though, for me. I'm going to promote Drifblim. There is a strong energy in the discard pile, so I can finish off this Donphan with Shadow Steel, and that's going to be a good thing. I also have an Enhanced Hammer, which I'm not going to play, since I'm going to knock them out. So let's go with the Shadow Steel. 50 damage, getting the knockout. And now there are 3 special energy in the discard pile, meaning Shadow Steel is doing 150 damage. And that means Shadow Steel is getting a knockout every turn from here on out. And that is a thing of beauty, folks. So this is where Drifblim can come in and sweep some games. The problem is I am down a lot of prizes, and I have to attack a lot to make up this ground. Falling behind this many prizes to a Donphan deck is devastating. Especially when your opponent gets a Professor Sycamore off of an end of 2. That's not helping the odds in this situation. Ugh. At any point, I can lose to, like, a Lysander. That's really annoying. You know, just like a Lysander and a strong energy on that Hawlucha could lose me the game. And that's actually what I'm most worried about right now. I have this Plasma Energy to Red Signal. Seems like a pretty good idea. Pick off something here. But what do you Red Signal here? Your obvious choice would be Donphan. Why not just go for Donphan? Here's the thing that's attacking you. And I would say, yeah, that's probably a good idea. But the thing I'm most worried about is losing the game. And I'm thinking, what gives my opponent the easiest path to victory? And that's actually just a Hawlucha with a strong energy and a Lysander. And so I'm actually going after Hawlucha, as weird as that seems. Yeah, I guess that's the way to go. Now my opponent, to win the game, would need Lysander, strong energy, and a fighting stadium. And that seems pretty unlikely. Or Lysander and a Silver Bangle. I don't know if they play Silver Bangle, but yeah. This seemed like it was the way to make my opponent do the most work to win the game. Hawlucha opened up that option to, do bad things. So, I don't know if that was the right move, but hey, I'll roll with it. Here comes the Karina, and it gets the Donphan, and we'll see what else it gets. Get an item card with that as well. I don't know, maybe, if I knew my opponent didn't have a Lysander that turn, I would go after Donphan 100%. But I'm okay with my play. It's going to be a close game no matter what. It's going to be a comeback no matter what. It's going to be very difficult to win. We see the other Donphan getting powered up with the fighting energy, and there's the Muscle Band. That means a spinning turn for 60 will knock out my Drifblim. Poor little guy. But he's going to dish out a lot of damage pretty soon. Alright. Got another one ready. He is 100 HP, so very difficult for my opponent to knock out in one hit, since there are no strong energy out there. And we did Skyla for the N on the previous turn, so we'll have the N to 1. And that seems very good. So here, we're definitely playing the N. Don't want any Lysander shenanigans. I'm going to Colress Machine just to get rid of it. Do not plan on using Colress Machine the rest of the game. We got a lot of good stuff left. Those muscle bands could have been really helpful earlier. But hey, let's try to focus on how to win from here on out. I have the G booster. I'm probably going to put that down right now, just to get it down and get a surefire prize at some point. Maybe that can close out the game. And let's go with a big old Shadow Steel for 200 damage. Knocking out that poor Kyurem. Never saw it coming. I actually had an option there to pass, and then I could red signal up a Donphan, but, I feel like I need to just attack and not take those risks right now. Just attack, attack, attack. Try to win the game. Seems like the best route to go here. Okay. So there are 2 Donphans up and running. We got one with a muscle band, one with a strong energy now. And there's a spinning turn for 60 damage. This is not looking pretty by any means. But it's basically going to come down to, like I said before, what my opponent draws. Has my N slow down my opponent enough to where I can win? And, now I have the switch. I have a red signal. And I get to choose which one do I want to bring out. So we have decision time once again. What do we red signal? The Hawlucha seemed like the right move at the first time, and I'm actually pretty happy I got rid of Hawlucha. If that were in play right now, I would be freaking out. Just a strong energy would have won the game for my opponent. So that's red signal, and which one do you go for? The Donphan with the strong energy, or the one with the muscle band? Now, here's the situation. If my opponent gets a muscle band with the strong energy Donphan, I lose, or a fighting stadium. If I go for the one with the strong energy, if my opponent draws a strong energy, I lose. Or a fighting stadium. So, I'm actually going to bring up the one with the muscle band because I have an enhanced hammer left, and there it is! We hit it, and now it has just become that much more difficult for my opponent to win the game. Now, I can still lose to a Lysander. That can still happen. But otherwise, to knock out the active, my opponent would need, a strong energy and a fighting stadium, some way to add like 30 damage. So here we go. Here's the final turn. Will my opponent be able to win the game? A Lysander will win the game. A combination of cards that adds up to a spinning turn for 70 damage or more will win the game. Otherwise, Drifblim will come in for approximately 82,000 damage with a Shadow Steel. So this is it, folks. This is going to be probably my opponent's last turn, one way or the other. Oh, man. What's going to happen? Did we make the comeback? Or was it all for nothing? Here comes Donphan. Uh-oh. Lysander means game over. I can't look. Oh, spinning turn. Whew. Wow, we managed to survive a roller coaster of a game, back and forth. Great game. And Drifblim, Certainly MVP of this game, I would say. 540 damage. That Sigilyph went right to the lost zone after that one. Too much damage. So yeah, that's a really tough matchup. And we nailed the mystery box. All right, what's in the box? We're going to find out. But yeah, Drifblim MVP. Just a really good card with Enhanced Hammer once again. All right, folks, what's in the box? Let's find out. It is... What? A fire energy? That's not a reward at all. You get infinite fire energy. Ugh. Sometimes I wonder about the mystery box. Fire energy. Maybe if it was one of those nice Call of Legends shiny fire energy, I would be ecstatic, but a basic black and white... whatever. All right, guys, thanks for watching the video. I will certainly have some more for you soon. I am Pooka from the Top Cut, and I'll see you guys next time.